Hello everybody. I've become a little bit obsessed with the Star Wars card game of Sabacc, and as I've got different versions of the card decks lying around, I thought I just could do a little comparison of the different types of decks that are available or were available at certain times, so that you could see them side by side. First of all, I know I said Sabacc, as most fans would know. This is just the special version of Corellian Spike Sabacc, as could be seen in the Solo movie. So of course I'll be talking Sabacc all the time, but what I mean is of course the Corellian Spike Sabacc. Okay, so first things first, I'll start with this a little game here. Most people would know that. I think that's the first that was officially licensed by Hasbro just after the Solo movie, and I was of course interested in those cards. These paper tokens. There's a whole bunch of them to resemble those metallic ingots. The cards themselves are quite okay. They're a bit small, and those Star Wars logo might be something that fans tend to dislike when it's we're going for screen accuracy. But of course, if you just want to play the game, you can very well use these. And you have got the two Psylobs. You've got green and red cards showing numbers from 1 to 10. So you can either play the rules that came with this card game, which was intention to be played by kids, and it's a great way to start. If you've got kids yourself and you want to play this Star Wars game, you can do this, of course, because by just playing by these rules, you can get around this whole gambling issue. So if you don't want to teach your kids to gamble for money, you can of course just play this game, and it's pretty nice. But we just wanted to talk about the cards. So they're just pretty normal playing cards, as I said, a bit small, and of course the design doesn't really resemble the cards we've seen on screen. The dice that come with the game are pretty nice, actually. I'm not too sure about the design. I'm going to talk about the dice later on when I compare the different card decks. But as a starter, this is something that you could use and that's available, and of course, the first I had to show to just be complete. But what I actually wanted to talk about are the different versions of the attempts to recreate the screen-used cards. For some time now, there's this game available at the Disney parks and the Galaxy's Edge merchandise shops. And it seems like Lucasfilms and Disney understood that fans wanted to have something that really looks like the cards used in the movie. So these are very nice and sturdy paper cards. And of course, we can be quite sure that the design and the layout of the cards should be pretty much like the one seen on screen. The only thing I personally don't really like is that I think the edge around here is a little too broad. So I think on the cards we've seen on screen, the design was printed a little bit bigger to the edges. So I think that's something they might not have gotten perfectly right, especially if you compare those with the images in the visual dictionary. And of course, on the back side, there's still this Watu logo, but but I think the cards are pretty nice. The dice are okay. The only thing I think is a little disappointing is that these symbols are just printed on. So, like especially the first Solo card game I just have shown, these are really printed into the dice, and this is just color printed on these sides. But for the price of just $15, I think that's absolutely fair. Main problem is that you just get them in the parks, so you have to find someone who brings them for you. Or I mean, usually there are several guys on the internet who sell their card decks on eBay, so you can get one of those if you like. And now for the fan-made items. There's one shop on Etsy called Lucky Psylop, and he's selling these cards. This is one of the first versions that has been available. So I've heard that by now the design has been a little bit improved. You can see that this looks very, very edgy and blocky. So I think he corrected that by now, and these first cards were a little bit flimsy and thin, and actually a little bit transparent. I don't know if you can see this. You can see the design a little bit shining through when the light is coming from the back. But by now he has got a different material, more like a more sturdy vinyl, and in the reviews I've read so far, people seem to like those new versions of the cards. So this is also a nice way to start off, and they are not too expensive, so you can use them. And of course there are no Star Wars like logos or anything on them, so they are really pretty much closer to the screen used ones. I think that they're a bit small, so compared to what we've seen on screen, and when I compare this holding the cards in my hand and comparing that with stills from the movie, I'd say they ended up being a little bit small, but that's okay. So you get an idea what you get, and what I think is a nice addition is this box which comes with all the card decks. It's a cardboard box with 4 leather, and this is really golden imprinted here. So that's yeah, a very cool and nice addition to this all, so you can keep the cards safe. And the dice that this Etsy shop is selling are those, and I think those are really done well, because the size of the symbols seems to be right on all the sides. So that's very worthy and of good quality. So these dice, I think they are pretty good. As you see, these are the ones from the Han Solo card game, and those were the ones sold at Disney at Galaxy's Edge. So I'm not too sure about the color. They are very dark, but I think when you see the pictures from the Visual Dictionary, those seem to be pretty close. Those issued by Disney are a little bit lighter, but still they're pretty good. And then I got lucky to grab one of those card decks. Those were initially made by a guy on the Replica prop forum, and were actually the first replicas of these cards that were available anywhere. So he was really fast, and just shortly after release of the movie, he had this version of cards out, and I think those are really, really nice, and I think that they are the closest one regarding the size of the cards, and also, as I said, the edges around the printing are not too broad. So I think this looks really like what we've seen on screen. But as the reference material at this time was limited, we know by now that, for example, the arrangement of the symbols is not screen accurate, because the 5 would look different. I don't know, I think on the Galaxy's Edge cards, yeah, like this, we see that this is the 7, for example, 6. So I think this one is the one that's off on the other one. But just regarding the handling of the cards and the overall look, I think this is really cool. And this box was not sold with the cards. This was made by another member from the Replica prop forum, especially for those who requested it for those card decks. So this is a 3D printed box covered with real leather and printed and made just to the measurements of those those cards here. So if you want something that really looks like in the visual dictionary, this is of course the version that I like the most, but I keep it for display purposes because those cards are not sold at the moment. I don't know if he's doing a run anywhere anytime in the future, but for now it's hard to get those cards, so I just keep those for display purposes. So and different versions of dice. Those cards were just the card deck without anything else. So if you want other dice, there was also another replica prop forum member who had those dice made by a professional dice maker. They are regarding the shade of the gray color, that's something in between those from Lucky Scilab and those from the Han Solo card game. So this was also just an attempt to recreate the ones from the movie, and this was my first attempt to just do something 3D printed. There are different meshes which you can get for free on the net and just print them, and I then just had them sanded and finished to be used as dice. And it's quite okay. So if you don't have a way to order any of those dice or to find them somewhere else, you can still print them, and they're okay for gaming. Just one thing that I recognized regarding the design of the symbols. The first we've seen regarding this symbol, which is supposed to be a 3, is that the bottom line here is curved. I don't know how old the design for those Sabacc dice is. I think it goes back to Star Wars Episode 7, when those were dangling on the Millennium Falcon. And when they used that design for the Solo movie, those are the official ones from Disney. You see that this bottom line is no longer curved, it's pointed over here. And all the newer designs follow that idea of the pointed bottom line. I'd say, I don't know if this was what the developers had in mind, but I'd say that this was supposed to be a 1 because it's a circle, and then you have got the 2, and then this should be the 3 because it has got 3 edges, 3 points, no? 4, 5, and then the hexagon 6. But that's just something I kept thinking about. I don't know if that's interesting for anyone, because as you know, when you're playing the game, it's just about 2 symbols matching each other, and there's no real value attached to them as far as the rules are concerned, which go around for the different kinds of Corellian Spike Sabacc that you can play. Okay, so it's not about a real recommendation which type of cards you should or should not buy. It's just more about comparing what is available. So I just show you the cards again to compare the size. So just put the dice away. Okay, so this was the Galaxy's Edge version. This is the Lucky Scilab version, and this is the one from the Replica Prop Forum. As you see, there is not very much of a difference, but as you see, the Lucky Scilab ones are the smallest. Then you have those from Galaxy's Edge, and then you have those from the Prop Forum. So I'd say that Disney, of course, would have had the measurements available, which were used in the movie. So I guess we can say that this is what it should be. So you can see and decide for yourself what you would like best. Okay, I just hope that this might have been interesting for you guys, and yeah, of course, good luck playing all these nice Corellian Spike rounds for yourself. So take care, and may the Force be with you all.